What is up, my good friends? It's almost the weekend. Man, excited. We have a good game tonight, man, NFL style. We've got the Chargers and Chiefs going on tonight. Everybody's picking the over. You know, when the public picks the over, you got to go against the public. So I don't know. I'm probably going to go under. I don't know. I've got probably the Chargers winning this one. They're +3. I don't know. Kansas City, they just come and go. I really, really like Justin Herbert, what he's doing in San Diego. So their defense is a little weak, but their offense is clicking on all cylinders. So pretty excited about it. What's up? Justin Faircloth. What's going on, man? Talking a little sports, man. Talking, just good old sports. Got a lot going on, man, in the sports weekend. Got a lot going on. With college football starting this week. Big news going on with NFL firings and all that good stuff. So to talk about it here with me is Mr. Sam Kidd. What's going on, dude?
Wait. That's not right. Hey, there I am. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, good evening, man.
Yeah. Oh, man, that chair's not moving back and forth. Wrong way.
Woo! Yeah, man. So listen, man, we got a heck of a weekend going on, man. We've got college football started. We went through. Go to motionsportsnetwork.com. Check out our picks. Myself, Sam, Juice, Jeremy Baker, and my brother Drew Nosar. We all had our college picks this week. And man, I mean, I'll be honest with you, everybody has completely different picks, man. It's pretty interesting to see.
It's because it's an all over the place thing. You and I got into this a couple of times during the show the other night.
What's up, John Fox, Justin, all those guys, man, out there. Justin's out there fishing, man. Good stuff, man.
But like I a few of us have different takes on it. I don't believe that people I believe there are quite a few teams that don't take bowls all that serious. People were disagreeing with me when we were doing that there Monday night, but we'll see.
Yeah, man, we're gonna get another guy. He's out. He's running a little late, man. His name is Daniel Higgins. He actually was with us on Monday night when we first did this, and I can't wait to talk to him. He's a big sports guy. So
Daniel's gonna come into the Thunderdome, huh?
Big news, Sam. We broke 1,000 likes today on Facebook. Just started 3 months ago, man. It's exciting. Do me a favor, go to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not yet. It's Motion Sports Network. This is gonna be your home for the KFL and all KBBT and all that good stuff, man. So we're excited about that. Plus all the other content. We got a lot going on, man. Look, we started out a couple weeks ago. Got the chance to interview Melissa Kim from the Baltimore Ravens. And then a treat, man. I tell you what, it was a treat interviewing Craig Laughlin, the locker from the Washington Capitals. We hope to get a lot more content like that in Motion Sports, and we brand it like just sports. That's all we're keeping it for, is just sports. So it's going to be exciting, a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to see where this thing goes. And you can be a part of it and come along this ride with us. But 1,000 likes already for 3 months. It's going to be awesome. So we're gonna have a good time. Hey, Sam, big news. Let's get it right off the bat. Today, I woke up this morning, man. I woke up about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Saw
me too.
My notifications, and Urban Meyer got canned last night, man. Good Lord, what a terrible fall from grace, man.
I as you say, you found this out about 3:30 in the morning. I was actually working last night, so as I'm finishing up and jumping the truck there, and I'm headed out, and I've got the sports radio on, and they're talking about it right then, and I'm just absolutely floored. Hold on, let me take that back. I'm not floored that he got fired. I think that I'm floored of when it happened. Mm-hmm. I suspected it was going to happen. I thought he was going to finish the season out. And if you go back quite a few shows here now, we were talking about this, and
we were. Yeah,
you said you suspected that it was going to happen in the season, and I said I don't think it's going to happen at all. I think or I thought at the time that Meyer was going to. Blake,
the ever so knowledgeable Blake Knight.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Blake, we'd know nothing, right? Yeah,
100%.
okay. So I thought I was like, no, I think that Meyer is a great coach to build around.
Yeah.
This was after his tryst in the bar with somebody that he got videotaped, and
Right on.
so I thought he was going to be able to live through it. Everybody else disagreed with me. Turns out everybody else was right.
Right. Hey, I'm gonna get another gentleman on. Daniel Higgins from Monday Night. One of the guys kind of was talking a little banter back and forth, Mr. Blake Knight, but he's coming on here tonight. What's going on, Daniel? How you doing, buddy?
This isn't Daniel. That says kayak bass runner. Daniel, you spell Daniel very strange.
We can hear you, man.
I'm not changing.
Yeah. Hey, man. If you have headphones, if you have headphones, it'll be better because I think there's an echo going on. I'm gonna remove you. Just get some headphones. All right. So, yeah, his internet is a little slow out there, but anyway.
Hey, everybody, this is a work in progress. You're here at the sub basement of what is going to become a sports empire.
Yes.
And
Sam,
so
let me ask you,
nobody started off perfect.
Yeah, let me ask you this, man. Urban Meyer, does he survive this in a year from now? I think he's got to take a year. I can't see him going back into coaching immediately. But you got to remember, man, he missed his opportunity. Like, he took his job and he thought he could bring this his ego, his talent. I mean, he's very talented, a very knowledgeable coach. But he tried to bring that crap over to Jacksonville, and he forgot that there's a professional team that are actually paying professional players. And guess what happens, Sam? On the other side of that line of scrimmage is professional athletes who are getting paid as well.
These are men that are paid to do this job.
Yeah. Let's try again. Daniel, can you hear everybody?
Daniel.
Yeah, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Can you hear me?
I sure can, man.
Yep. Y'all talking about Urban Meyer?
We are talking about Urban Meyer. Yes, sir.
Hey, we got Drew too.
Hey, what's going on?
Did we just let anybody in here? Oh.
Now the real show can begin.
All right, Daniel, talk about Urban Meyer, man. What did you think about his firing? Yeah, we got.
I mean, I know why they fired him because of all the stuff going on with like his personal issues that he's been having when he stayed in Ohio for an extra week and all that, and then of course the what was it?
The grind event.
Kicker. He ended up kicking a kicker.
Grind event. I like that. That's a good call.
The coffee grinder.
The last time Jacksonville did anything.
Yeah. Hey, Daniel, I'm gonna put you out here, man.
When was the last time Jacksonville was good?
Yeah, Daniel, I'm gonna have to get you out of here, man, because we have a real bad internet connection here, man. All right, let's go ahead and. Yeah. All right, there we go. All right, man, we're just having internet issues with him.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yep. All right. Good deal. All right, Drew, what's going on, man? Urban Meyer, man, what's going on? What the heck?
He was about to lose the team. He did lose the team for all the not the right reasons.
Yeah, he lost the team.
When you kick your kicker.
Yeah, that's never a good thing.
That's something I heard last night. Hadn't heard before. But before the firing that this went down. I think that you had a college coach with an overinflated ego, thinking he was going to come and impress his ideas on men who are paid to do the job of playing football.
What's going on, Jerry?
You have this with lots and lots of college coaches that get a chance in the NFL, and it just doesn't work out. Saban, for all he's done at Alabama, it didn't work for him in the NFL. So
I don't think. Urban Meyer even had an idea of what was actually going on. They had no running game. Their quarterback was doing terrible. I mean, his
fight
idea
that Marvin Jones had.
What's that?
Did you see the fight that Marvin Jones had?
No, I didn't see.
Yeah. Marvin Jones had a big fight with Urban Meyer. I mean, walked off practice and everything else. And, there's a shouting match. But, I mean, look, he's a wide receiver. That happens a lot with head coaches and stuff. But, man, it's just one of these things, man. It was not a good fit. I blame Shad Khan. Obviously, he wanted to bring that kind of new culture into the NFL. I blame the ownership. Now, look, that was a $50 million mistake, okay? You've got – Urban Meyer missed out on LSU. Missed out on going back to Florida. Okay. Missed out on going to USC. Missed out going to Texas, Notre Dame,
Oklahoma.
I mean, and the list goes on and on.
Right.
But he's like
Texas was last year.
But right now he's like John Gruden. Nobody, you can't touch him.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you guys. Is John Gruden and Urban Meyer untouchable coaches now?
Yeah, I mean, you can get into like a AAA Division One.
Y'all comment in the comments. Is Urban Meyer and John Gruden untouchable in terms of being able to
Gruden,
coach?
I think, can come back, but Urban Meyer, I mean, what Gruden didn't happen to do with like players. I mean, I understand what he did was awful, but what Urban did, how he treated his players, nobody's going to ever want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jonathan says here he wants to know the can't wait to see the cause that they're using for the firing and if they're on the hook for the $40 million.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's.
It's an ironclad contract.
Right.
With or without cause, they.
But it doesn't go against their salary cap. So coach, I mean, you can throw $40 million at a coach. Of course, I can spend somebody else's money all day long.
Yeah, Blake says they're both. I kind of agree.
I think so too. I think that what Gruden did is worse. I don't think that you'll see Gruden back in the coaching ranks.
He doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to be.
No,
I mean, he got paid out. He got paid out.
Plus he's going to settle a huge amount with the NFL.
Yeah,
they're going to pay him out where he wouldn't have.
Well, you're going to see Urban Meyer going to as you said, Drew, a Division 1A school or 1AA school, FCS school, or a smaller school like a Louisiana or
no, I don't.
Like you don't. No, I mean, not Louisiana specifically, but I think he could go to a smaller school like a Montana State or something.
Guys, no, you guys got to
look at Pitino. They keep hiring him back.
Yeah,
I mean, he's one of the worst of the worst.
These coaches' egos are at an all-time high, and when you get to that pinnacle like that, I mean, John Gruden won a Super Bowl. Okay, he's not going to Louisiana or Montana State. It's just not going to happen. Okay, here's what's going to happen, guys. Like. I'm just going to pick on Texas real quick, okay? Texas.
Blake, you listening?
Listen to me. Texas, the Longhorns, okay? Their winning is more important than morals. You got me?
I agree.
Their winning is way more important than some coach kicking a kicker, okay? That happens on every field throughout college and high school across the United States all the time, okay? The coaches getting kids' face. Look what Trent Dilfer did. Trent Dilfer was in high school, picked up one of these kids and threw him on the ground and said, sit on the bench. That happens all the time. Okay, so, as we find gasping, as an atrocity for kicking the kicker, this is just a coach's thing. I mean, look, I was in high school. I played high school ball. Drew, you did too. Look, man, I got kicked in the freaking britches all the time with these coaches, man, grabbing me by the shoulder pads and throwing me in every which way. It's part of football. But what happens is, I'm not justifying that, but what I'm saying is Texas will give it a year or two. And if Sarkisian does not start winning, you got to remember, Texas is making the leap in 2025 to go to the SEC. Guess who was very successful in the SEC?
Urban
Meyer. I am almost 100% positive
he won't go back.
that the boosters will kick out Sarkisian and then bring in Urban Meyer in the 24 season and then get him a year to prepare for the SEC football. And I guarantee you, it will be the biggest coaching contract in NCAA history. And then he winds up being like no harm, no foul.
Yeah, I'm going through some of our comments here, looking at some stuff. And even though some of them may be different, everybody is making a very viable point. Do I know whether Gruden or Meyer will get another job? No, I don't. So I'm going to speculate, and we're all going to speculate. We're all going to guess.
Daniel's right.
That's why we do this sports talk thing. He says no one's untouchable. Forgive and forget. Give it 4 or 5 years, and that's why I said Urban Meyer's not going to be back at Ohio State or Boston College or a bigger name school.
Yeah.
But he could be at a
SMU
Montana State or SMU, a
State.
place like this.
Like Daniel hit it on the nail on the head. Winning cures all. Okay.
That was my next one. I wanted to hit on exactly.
And
Yep.
yeah, look, again, if he was not 2-11, it wouldn't have mattered. Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, it wouldn't have mattered. Now, all the players are saying the right things and all that stuff. Is going to be interesting to see what happens with the new coach coming in and see what. But I'll tell you what, Shad Khan, better. He doesn't have any more room to mess up here. He's got great young talent on that team. It's it's just these players hated him, and there's bickering between players. I mean, I would say half the players are going to be gone next year, but Shad Khan has got to make the right decision and get a good coach, because here's the deal. Shad Khan wants to move the team, and they cannot market London or anything like that with a terrible team. You know what I mean? It just won't happen. They won't build stadiums. They won't do all the, the things that you're supposed to do in new markets. But you can't have this. Jacksonville is a tough NFL area anyway, and it's worse when you have a 2-11 team. He's got to bring some flair. He's got to bring some excitement.
I'd like to see Bieniemy go there. I think that'd be a perfect fit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think that's going to move the needle. I think,
but he's a player's coach, and they need.
But I don't think it's going to move the needle in terms of like fan interaction. Okay, and like Gruden did it out in Las Vegas. That was a brilliant marketing move because they were moving the team in Las Vegas. They wanted that name. They wanted that stardom, and it built obviously the Las Vegas Raiders to what it is today. So I think you need a big name when that happens.
You want a name? Let me throw out a name there. And have you heard this name in the news this week? Been paying attention to anything going on with college football recruiting or anything like that? How about this name for you? Neon Deion Sanders.
Oh my gosh, I was going to get to that, but let's go ahead.
But okay, no, I'm bringing him up here because you want a name, you want flair, you want someone who has the respect.
Number one, ESPN. ESPN had him number 2, but everybody else had this kid number 1. Stole him from Florida State, which I'm sure that would have been unbelievable. And there's accusations that says Barstool Sports paid this kid $1 million to go to where Deion's coaching and all these accusations. But what a great move Deion is doing. Jackson State, man. Whoever thought Jackson State was going to be the epicenter of college football?
Even relevant.
Relevant. So I mean,
they won their championship.
Won their conference from going. I think they didn't won just a couple of games over the last few years to winning their conference. And so, okay, the reason I brought up Sanders is because you say you want a name. This guy he's now, what are his coaching chops? He's only been around there a couple of years, so I don't think that he can quite make that jump yet. But if you want a name, if you want people to care about it, if you want to be tuning in, because I think that Sanders could bring something totally out of left field. And if you're Jacksonville, you need a reason to get people to come there. You need a reason to get people to watch.
And Deion's from Florida.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, he's very comfortable there. That would be an amazing hire. That would break the internet.
Yeah. I'm right. I'm pretty sure you are.
How about like Kellen Moore or
no? Not going to do it. It's not going to do it. But I mean, the Urban Meyer firing is, I think it's a little taste of hypocrisy the NFL continues to have. Speaking of hypocrisy, it's the COVID situation we got going on in the NFL. Look, again, we're not.
Hey, Greg. But before you get to COVID, there, let me. I want to jump back here to something else that Jonathan said, and you want to talk about hypocrisy. Jonathan brings up. Let's see the Washington football team emails, and the Washington football team is in some hot water right now, and I've only scratched the surface of it, but there's a lot of people that want a lot more answers to what went on in Washington, and I don't think that we're done with what's happening in Washington, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. Not on the field for Washington. This is in the front office.
But Goodell just cleared Dan Snyder, saying that he did not interfere with the investigation. So you can say what you want, man, but if Goodell's out there backing Dan Snyder, it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, it's not. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah,
Until
you're probably
Goodell,
right.
you know what? And the reason why, look, the reason why Goodell hasn't got it back to Snyder is because
They're paying him.
Goodell's right in the middle of it. If we were to look at those emails, and the NFL hasn't released all 300,000 emails because guess who's in the center of it?
Yep.
But he's
Roger
also getting
Goodell.
$40 million a year to protect the Shield and the people that are paying him.
But that'll, you know, it's
Yeah,
you know,
but
Goodell's got he's got
didn't do
a
that.
couple more years, and
He didn't do
then
that for Jerry
you can
Richardson.
do this.
Yeah.
He didn't do that for Jerry Richardson.
Just wait until the government starts scratching that jock a little bit more.
And that's some of the stuff I was hearing today, that the government is starting to put their nose into this, and it's going to get worse for Washington
The
before it gets
government
better.
needs to keep themselves. Look, it was a joke that they even had the steroid hearing. Come on, the government has no business getting themselves into private entities like the NFL. Believe it or not, the NFL is a privately held company. It's a
But it's
nonprofit
still a
organization.
company. It's still a
It doesn't
business.
matter. The government has no say so what's going on in sports. Just get out of that. But let's get back to the NFL in terms of the COVID situation, guys. This is a serious situation, guys.
Did you? I sent the article.
Mishandling of COVID is affecting sports.
Over
And-
100 players this week alone in the NFL.
It is. It's absolutely insane. Here's the deal. Again, we're not trying to stay political, and I joked with Sam.
We're not trying to get there at all. So
I joked with Sam. I said maybe the NFL should have listened to Dr. Joe Rogan and not Dr. Fauci. You know what I mean? Because it seems like everything that they're doing in their intense COVID policies is biting them in the face. And
did you?
But it's just not the NFL. It's everybody.
I know, but they're putting these. Okay, I saw a guy who's a local radio station guy here saying these players should be able to play if they're asymptomatic, and they are allowed to play if they are tested positive but asymptomatic. That's not true.
It's okay. It's not true.
Because
A little bit earlier today, I sent you both an article there. I don't know if you had a chance to read it. The NFL is making major changes to their COVID policy effective immediately.
today.
They're going to do. It's back to no Zoom face coverings, no in-person meetings. You can't you can't eat together and these kind of things to try and but apparently that's only going to last through week 15. But the most interesting thing that I saw that they're doing is they're going to do a different type of testing, that it's along the lines of the PCR test for COVID, but it measures the amount of viral load that you have. And so once you reach a certain level, you're deemed that you can't spread it. So they're going to let you test, get 2 negative tests. If you get 2 negative tests back to back, you can play. They don't have to be 24 hours apart anymore. And then if you have this test that shows your viral load is past a certain threshold that you're not going to spread it, they're going to let these players play, which I'm kind of behind. If we have this ability in this testing to say, hey, you know what, you don't, after 4 days, you're good to go. So let's get you back out.
And I actually agree with Baker Mayfield on his tweets, man. I'll see if I can find his tweets, but yeah, they were absolutely unloading on it. It's like, what are we going to do? Because the NFL keeps on washing back and forth. But yeah, I agree with that, man. But here's the deal, and you guys comment below. Again, I'm trying to not get this into a political situation, but we all remember the Michael Jordan flu game. Okay, he played basketball with the flu. All the players were at risk on the court to get the flu during that event, okay? And they played, okay? It's one of the most memorable games. And if these guys are all testing positive, not just once, not just twice, some of them are having COVID 3 or 4 times. I mean, the Chicago Bears coaching staff is now wrecked. This is the second time this season that the Chicago Bears coaching staff is under this COVID thing. It's inevitable that these athletes are going to get COVID. Should they just allow these players to play because, that they're healthy, they're able to recover? 99.9% of the time, these COVID patients are getting through. There's a lot more aggressive medicine to treat COVID. Should these players be allowed to play even with a positive test? Yes or no?
No.
Y'all comment below.
No,
Why?
because they can still spread it. And that's what I mean.
But you could still spread this flu.
Right, but what even if they're asymptomatic or whatever, maybe the next guy next to you might have a pre-existing heart condition or a lung.
But that's stuff that would be known. I mean, these guys go through insane physical. So that's
like those players in Denver. They didn't know that guy had sickle cell disease, or until he had like whatever in Denver. There's certain ailments that that might not be prominent until you get a COVID case, and it can blow. Oh well, this guy had. I mean, look at Colin Powell. I mean, he had pre-existing, and he's gone.
Yeah, check
this. It affects everybody differently, and I think that's what the fear is. If one of these players were to happen to die to COVID, we got a whole big mess on our hands.
But that's what the NFL is doing with they're moving into a more advanced level of testing that's going to say, okay, you have X amount of virus inside of you. You can't spread it anymore. You can now come back to normal activities. And that's if you want to take care of your product and put the best product forward, like I was talking, Greg, we were talking earlier today, and Drew, you were texting me about this last night, that the Washington football team is 20 some players in COVID protocols. They're in a playoff position right now. These last 4 weeks of the
all right, guys.
Season.
Let me go over these Baker Mayfield tweets. Hold on. Let me go over these Baker Mayfield tweets. At NFL, make up your damn mind on protocols. Showing up and making 3 teams test, also you can keep the game scheduled to make money. Actually caring about player safety would mean delaying the game with this continued at the rate it is. But to say you won't test vaccinated players is if they don't have symptoms and then pull this randomly does not make any sense to me. Tell me if this makes sense. No test this morning. Then let our own team gather for practice, then show up after practice, and then test them. Something seems off here. He's 100% correct.
Absolutely.
It's this timing.
Baker
Mayfield is absolutely 100% correct.
It's timing, and it's the idea that's been not idea, but just what's happened with COVID, how everything changes, and from 2 weeks to slow the curve to now, I just got my third shot earlier this week, and it's a million miles from where it started to where it is now, and everything keeps changing, and everybody's trying to keep up with it. And the NFL is really trying, and sports leagues are really trying to keep as many of their players out there playing to make their games be the best they can. Greg, another thing that we were talking about today, when it comes to the NBA and the NHL, and come spring, if baseball comes back with the MLB, you've got Canadian teams, and they Canada has a completely. If you are unvaccinated, you cannot go play professional sports in Canada. And so that's an even bigger deterrent. But the Calgary Flames had 5 of their games postponed. It's I mean, what is going on? And how many players are positive before you get your game postponed or your next game postponed? There's different rules playing out with different teams. It happened last year, and more of it's going on this year.
Yeah, but Baker's right. Like, why are you testing after practice? Why are you testing not before? Why are you testing during after all these things are done? And why are you waiting so long and not postponing these games? I mean, he's 100% correct.
Well,
yeah,
I don't know. It's
so yeah.
They have to get this product on the field. They have to make the money. But if you see, let's say Washington goes out this weekend and gets trounced 37-3 to Philadelphia, because they're down so many people. I'd like to see a way that you can slide your COVID people off, make them, not be have roster spots, count against cap or whatever for that week, so that you can bring in replacement players. Not that it's going to help you with 4 weeks left in the season, But I don't think it would handicap you as bad as let's say a team. Let's say Baker Mayfield tests positive, and then his backup tests positive. What's Cleveland going to do for a quarterback this weekend?
Well, I think you're seeing that with the Bulls. I mean, the Bulls just had to cancel 2 games with the Detroit Pistons and also, with Toronto. But here's the deal. The NFL came in the very beginning of the season, put this memorandum down, and said, look, we're not canceling games because of COVID. We have very strict COVID protocol in place for teams. Only vaccinated people in the building are allowed to have mask-free contact with players. Unvaccinated. Thus, Cam Newton was released. Let's be honest. He was released out of New England because he was unvaccinated. You got Aaron Rodgers in that whole stink because he was unvaccinated, or he said he was immunized, but he was not COVID vaccinated per se. And all these, there's a separate unvaccinated treatment and versus vaccinated treatment. But here's the deal. The vaccinated and the unvaccinated are all getting COVID. It doesn't really matter. It's a big free-for-all. The NFL has, they were very dead set on not rescheduling these deals. Washington.
Can you imagine if a team just forfeited?
Well, that's the problem. Here's the deal. That's what they're saying, because the NFL went in, Drew, and said, if you don't follow these COVID protocols, and if your team gets COVID and there's an outbreak and they can't play, your team has to forfeit. Well, guess what?
I would like to see like a Cleveland or Washington just forfeit and let the NFL lose that money.
But here's the deal, dude.
What happens.
They are following COVID protocols.
They are.
They're traveling together, and doing these COVID protocols that the NFL set in place. But the reality of it is it's not working. And now the NFL is going to have to go back and say, well, wait a minute, we got to either reschedule or cancel these games out. And then their sweet old 18-week, 17-game schedule is blown out the window because it's terrible. Because of terrible management, guys.
And the other problem that they're going to run across is, they can't. If you delay a week, you would have to possibly postpone the Super Bowl a week, which you have to set that out a year in advance just to get all the sponsorships, all the ceremonies.
Can you imagine, guys? Look, and we know we're getting ready to go into flu season, and everybody's gonna become sick, and this weather's been crazy. 1 minute it's 70 degrees, the next minute's 29 degrees. But can you imagine the Super Bowl? This year's Super Bowl being affected because of COVID outbreak.
Yeah. That's what I was just thinking. Jonathan said, what if your number one quarterback misses the next 3 games as you're leading the playoffs? Let's say we're in the playoffs and you've got we're into the second week of the playoffs and Tom Brady tests positive and there's no Tom Brady on the field, or in an NFC Championship. Brady and Rodgers are both out. Who the heck is going to watch that? Or like you said, God forbid, come the Super Bowl and a team that I'll tell you, let's say Green Bay is in the Super Bowl and Green Bay has a huge outbreak and they're down 8, 10, 12 players. What's the NFL going to do then?
But I think the NFL looks at it as, even though if we put a watered down product on the field, they still got our money. People are still going to watch it. I would like to see what the ratings would be on that Redskins-Eagles game. I guarantee you in the Philadelphia region that it's going to blow numbers out the water, 22 million, like it always does anyways. So
Yeah,
it's like there's their own show going on in the chat right now.
Tom Brady is the Chuck Norris of the NFL. Let's just be honest, man. You know what I mean?
I think you're right. I mean, like he's got that Enterprise commercial, is it right? And for some reason, I believe that he just goes in once a week and gets recharged.
I believe it because I mean, look, the NFL, the management is. Obviously they're trying to do what is being recommended to them from CDC and all this other stuff. I mean, I'm not going to completely blame the NFL because, again, they're hearing it from, quote unquote, the professionals. But let's be honest, no one has a grasp of what's going on with COVID. No one. I don't care what anybody says.
Not one bit.
It's just, I've had COVID. Drew, you've had COVID. Sam, I don't know if you had it, man. I mean, it's not a fun thing to go through. It really isn't. I mean, I'm not downplaying COVID. Don't get me wrong. It knocked me on my butt. But at the end of the day, we've got to come to the point that it's just going to be a part of our life now. I mean, it is a part of our life.
It's gonna be like
And
the flu.
it's
We're gonna get
unfortunate,
vaccinated every year.
but you can't. It's like children, man. You're not going to be able to protect your children the rest of your life. I mean, you can't. You got to let them out there, and and you just got to let them adapt to the world, adapt to what's going on. And I believe over time, human immunity is powerful, and humans always adjust, to whatever the next thing is coming. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But I think, with all these things going on in sports, the NFL did a poor job planning for the NFL because they were so busy sticking in that 18th week. They didn't account for, maybe having buffer weeks or, at the end of the season to be able to make up games and stuff like that. They were so immersed in getting more money, what I mean? And the players just the same. The CBA agreement, guys, the CBA agreement wanted another, revenue share to bump up their percentage up to like 54.3% of revenue coming in the NFL. So the players are benefiting, even though they didn't want that next week, but they're benefiting it with more and more money coming in. So this is all a money grab, guys. Poor management and money grab.
If we go back last year, I mean, you never had a team that had 17 players, 21 players, 13 players, out with COVID. You might have had like 3, 4, or 5, and they're like, well, if that's the the worst case scenario, then this isn't a big deal.
Yeah,
I don't think they estimated 21 players on one team is going to get, is going to have an outbreak like this.
Yeah,
I think it was Tennessee or something last year that had like 5 players, and that was about it.
Right. Yeah. Daniel, we're actually going to talk to you about your team here next. Our own Jeremy Baker, Juice, is reporting this, and we don't know if it's 100%. I don't know. He's supposed to get a video together and report this out, but apparently Bo Nix, quarterback from Auburn, is in the transfer portal, and sources say
Does
that
he
he
have a
happens
case of Dr.
to
Pepper with
be
him?
on the Ole Miss campus, y'all, in Oxford, Mississippi. So we might have some. Look, we had Spencer Rattler go to South Carolina. We got all these quarterbacks moved around, and I saw something from Dabo Sweeney saying that this is nothing more than free agency and it's all a mess, and this transfer portal mess. But man, I tell you what, Auburn's looking to, they've already lost Bo Nix. It was reported just yesterday that he is definitely leaving Auburn, and sources say that he might be transferring to Ole Miss. Guys, what do you all think about this new dynamic of players being able to get up, transfer? We had also the quarterback from Ohio State went to Texas. So, the 5-star quarterback from Ohio State moved there. I mean, guys, it's hard enough to keep an idea of what players are who with and all that stuff. But now we've got like free agency throughout college. Do y'all like this?
And that was the issue with this NCAA allowing college players to get money. Now it's all a matter of which college is going to, commercialize you the most, where I can make the most money is where I'm going to go. So you might not have the SEC powerhouse anymore. You might have the Big 12 or, the Pac-10, whatever. It's whoever has the most money that's going to spend the most money to get these college recruits in here that's going to televise them. So you'd want to go to Los Angeles or New York or something.
We talked about this in the beginning of the year about the NIL, but, with Juice. But, man, I'll tell you, it's one of these things that – why would kids, now, who's making millions of dollars as quarterback from college, live the great college life? Isn't that going to prohibit them from leaving school early and going in the NFL when they're making they're making more than the rookie minimum in college?
Look at that guy in South Dakota. I think the quarterback was like an 8-year senior or something like that.
That sounds like going to be my children.
You kind of call it if you want to call it free agency, sure, but you only, you're going to spend 4 years in college. You only have the one shot. So if things aren't the way that Bo Nix likes them in Auburn, he's got one shot to jump somewhere else. And so you see him going to Ole Miss, as their quarterback is leaving.
Possibly.
So
possibly.
Yeah, most likely. But you only have that one shot to to make it. And if you're NFL talent or fringe NFL talent, you need to go somewhere where your talent is going to be used the best. And if Nix thought that it was Auburn when he signed at Auburn and started at Auburn, but then you get there, as you're going through the signing process, you're only going to see so much. Then when you get there and you're at the school and you actually see how they treat the players and the situation and the life around there, getting a shot, the ability to leave where you used to have to sit out a year. So now this doesn't happen with the new transfer portal. Why not give them a shot? Unless, well, I mean, I can't put a caveat on this, but it's going to probably turn into something like the rich get richer. Bo Nix is going to Ole Miss. He's not at Boston College thinking about transferring himself to Boston College.
But Spencer Rattler went from Oklahoma to South Carolina, and let's be honest. I mean, that's a demotion. I mean, he didn't play himself into the position. Let's be honest. He sucked played himself out. He played so bad, towards the latter half of the year that, he went to a smaller, football school, so to speak. I mean, South Carolina's okay, but they're not Oklahoma,
Yeah, I was looking at something. I'm trying to find the article here again, but I was looking at this as they released their rankings of the teams through signing day. And I think that I got down as I'm scrolling down, I'm somewhere around like number 35 or something like that. And I see Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt is the number 13 out of 14 SEC schools. And they're ranked. It's in the top 40. I can tell you that. Vanderbilt. So if you're sitting there, I'm just going to stick with Bo Nix, that he sees that what Ole Miss has coming in, and so he can pick to go there. I think that you should if you want to go and transfer, you should have to make a transfer decision before these signing day things come out, so that you don't see these guys going to where the grass is seemingly greener.
I like what Jonathan's trying to say here too with what you're saying. It's just like what happened with LeBron, right? Remember when they had these, the big three in Miami, and basically them recruiting stud athletes, and then the NCAA.
Brilliant point. Yep.
Get stacked teams, and then all these 5-star athletes are going to come together, basically and create this super team. And to be honest with you, I mean, if you're going to do that, would you go to like Alabama to do that? Because they're already going to be like that. Or would you go to some other team like Vanderbilt where you could take a team from zero to hero and honestly make more money? Because, I mean, Vanderbilt, in terms of money, in terms of like private, it's like a private school. They got boosters galore. You know what I mean? So, I mean, why not go to a smaller school? You know what I mean? And not compete against with all those 5 stars, and you could be the star of that campus.
But then it comes down to schedule. Will they get the schedule that they deserve? I mean,
they're still SEC.
What you have to ask the question: what is Bo Nix looking for? Is he looking for the chance to win the SEC and win a national championship?
No. Bo Nix is looking to start
for a pathway to the NFL.
Yeah. So look, here's the deal: he couldn't cut it in Auburn. Okay, he wasn't good enough. Let's just be honest.
He also had a leg injury too, so.
But still, he just wasn't good enough to cut it in Auburn. So, look, he wants another shot in a different place. It's like no different from anybody else. It's like if things are tough at one place, you pack up and you go somewhere else, and maybe you need a new scenery and you get your head straight, man. But yeah, I mean, look, I like what Blake says here. I mean, just nailed it. Look at this. They're kids. I think people forget that. Peyton Manning transferred. A lot of coaches carousels in the NCAA. You're promised something and it changes. You should be able to move. And for years, the kids that were recruited under coaches, the coaches would be there and then they would leave. And the kids were always stuck.
And the kids were left out. Another very famous transfer story is Randy Moss.
Marshall.
Right. When he went to Marshall when Marshall was still playing 1AA the year before they became a 1A school, had a great season at 1AA, and then in 1A ball Randy Moss played great, and I mean he was his future. He was looking at his future at his original signing at Florida State. Got his scholarship pulled at Florida State, but he had this system built in that was going to get him to the NFL. I mean, and Randy Moss had a heck of a talent too.
Yeah.
So you compare Randy Moss, Peyton Manning, and a Bo Nix, and there's what is the drive of these guys now? As opposed to what they were 10, 15 years ago.
I think the ultimate goal is obviously eyes on the prize, right? Eyes on the prize is getting to the next level, which is the NFL. And, they want to be star man on campus. Look, Bryce Young is going to be making a couple $1 million next year. And obviously, after winning the Heisman. Well, let's just say this. Bryce Young is the first Heisman Trophy winner to win during the new NIL rules. How much is that Heisman Trophy worth? We're going to find out.
Yeah,
we're going to find out how much it is worth. How much?
Okay. You say that, but are we going to find out if
we are. It's going to be
reported. His name on every
okay. Yeah, that's what I was asking. Is it going to be reported? Are we going to know what these kids are after?
I think it's going to be worth $3-4 million for him next year. And
just the Wheaties alone to be on the cover of that box is going to give them like $1 million.
Well, and then you got Hurts, right? Hurts is the official, Heisman Trophy. He's in the Hurts house or something like that, Heisman house, and all that stuff, man. I mean, all that stuff is there, man. And these kids now can get paid and get all these endorsements and stuff like that. I think it's a $3-4 million deal. I really do. Hey guys, I want to talk about something real quick. Did y'all see Pat McAfee?
This is another one I kind of scratched the surface on, heard a little bit about what he's got going on.
Pat McAfee just signed a deal, guys. Listen to this. Pat is extraordinarily talented. I love watching him. He has a great thing going on. Pat McAfee signed a deal.
Pat McAfee.
Yeah,
West Virginia Mountaineer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's all over the place, man. But Pat McAfee just signed a deal with FanDuel. Guys, it's an ad deal for 3 years with a 4-year option. $120 million.
Good for him.
People were thinking he was crazy, leaving the NFL when he retired and then went to Barstool Sports. And then after Barstool, he created his own entity. And, the Pat McAfee show, he's got like 1.5 or 1.6 million viewers or subscribers on YouTube. But think about that, guys. How the market has changed with gambling alone. Barstool was bought out for $450 million. Okay. That includes the whole Barstool network. Okay. And including the Barstool app to bet and all that stuff, which only controls 4% of the market. FanDuel controls like 53% of the market when it comes to sports gaming. But FanDuel, the market, I mean, look, Dan Le Batard down in Miami signed a deal. I think it was $50 million over 3 years with FanDuel. But Pat McAfee, $120 million for 4 years, basically, with a 3-year with a 4-year option. Man, that's a lot of money. I mean, is that what sports gambling has now become? Like this huge, huge business that it's unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I mean, just the state of Maryland, I think the first month that they had it legalized was like $58 billion in revenue. I mean, this is their first month and they're killing it.
Yeah.
Look at that. You're questioning, wow, there's all this money in gambling. Have you ever heard of Las Vegas with these 3,000 room hotels? That's gambling money. And that's where they get yes, there's tons of money out there.
I'll say this. The MGM Grand here in National Harbor, okay, the cost to build that was $1.2 billion. Okay, you go across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, it was $1.2 billion. Guys, their revenue, the first month was $500 million. Okay, now they struck out a deal with DC and Maryland. They would get 50% of the slot revenue to them. They broke even in 6 months.
One of
months they broke even.
One of my favorite movies of all time is Casino. And you kind of see a little bit how they play. It's a mafia movie. It's a gambling movie. It's a Vegas movie. So you see a little bit about how all this money moves around and changes and what it does. It's crazy. And so then you have these entities like hey, Absolutely. Okay. He had to do it. He had to put in the work. He had to build it. He had to make it happen. And it didn't.
It's great.
It
It's
didn't.
capitalism.
He just didn't flip a switch and got himself 1 million plus subscribers to his YouTube channel. That's work that he put in, and I admire that. And sitting here and doing that work now, it's an undertaking. It's an effort. It's a lifestyle. And so good for Pat
DraftKings, listen,
McAfee.
we're available for ad revenue. We won't do 120. We know that's a little bit much, but we'll do 60 million for DraftKings if you guys want to sponsor us, or we'll run your ads for about 60 million.
Yeah.
For 3 years.
I'll say anything there is about DraftKings or
whatever,
or
man. I'll wear a
Caesars
DraftKings hat. I don't care, man.
Let me start small. Can I get the Buffalo Trace Distillery to send me a bottle of Buffalo Trace? Because there is not a bottle of Buffalo Trace to be found in the state of Virginia. I swear to God.
Let me just answer your question real quick.
Are you? Oh.
But guys, yeah, I mean,
Greg,
it's
I might
interesting.
strangle your brother.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, and to see how, I mean, honestly, the amount of money that's being made right now in that arena, man, it's just crazy. I mean, it's just opened my eyes. That's a big number.
It is, and you've these entities, these sports entities. Well, I mean, ESPN is owned by Disney.
Yeah.
And so I mean, that bankroll is undeniable. And so who did Barstool get bought by again?
Penn.
Who's that?
PENN stock.
Okay.
PENN.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I mean, that stuff's going to happen. You son of a bitch.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other one's really rough to come by is Eagle Rare. Drew, have you had Jefferson's Ocean's probably my favorite one right now. That's a great bourbon.
You know the story about Jefferson Ocean, right?
What's that?
They
aged at sea.
Equator 200 times.
Yeah, every batch kind of has a different sails a different journey. So every batch is a little bit different. But man, that is a heck of a good bourbon.
Yeah, they happen in barrels and they float.
Right. See, that's I've got okay. Hey, you can find it. You can find it here. You can find it there. Have you ever heard of hold on. I'm gonna go find some of these. Go ahead about your thing. I'll get back to my Buffalo Trace here in a minute.
Hey, while we're talking about that, I know we're getting off the rails here. Man, this is not just sports. I mean, we can talk about a little different things, man. Like the finer things in life, like cigars. I mean. My favorite is a Fat Bottom Betty by the Drew Estates, man. Awesome, just good stuff. So anyway, we are off the rails. Let's end it with this, guys. Tonight, actually going on here right in a few minutes. Chargers and Chiefs. Sam, who do you got, man? Well, speaking of which, Chargers have driven down. They're at the KC5, 3rd and goal. Right now, I had Chargers in the I had the Chargers in the under.
This is another one of those. I don't know why I've got a feeling. I've had two of these feelings happen this year when I want to look at games. One of them was the Texans taking out the Titans, and here just a couple of weeks ago, I liked Minnesota over Pittsburgh. The week after that Minnesota loss. To Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you can't really call the Chargers an underdog in this game, but record wise, they are. This game is at Los Angeles. I think I like the Chargers in this too. I haven't seen the number or the over under, but just to take this game, I will go with the Chargers.
They did not convert. It's 4th and 5. Looks like it'll be kicking a field goal, guys. So,
I think Kansas City has.
You can't trade field goals for touchdowns against Kansas City.
They've been playing the early season very very bad team, and they've kind of got themselves right the middle part of the season, and now they're not going to win out to win the West. I can tell you they will not win their next all 4 of their next 4 games.
Justin Herbert has started the game 0 for 3. Not a good start for Herbert. So, but anyway, they're getting ready to kick a field goal, I suppose, and scores not updating. But yeah, they're.
No, I got it. Yeah. The injury Chargers
Timeout.
player down.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well that's it, guys. That's our show. I've got the Chiefs with the under +3. I mean, Chiefs +3. I mean, that's a home underdog. I mean, you're supposed to get 3 points at home, right? That's what home is worth in the NFL. So that's really on a neutral field. They get +6 against the Chiefs. I like that. So we'll see, man. All right, boys, we're out of here. We're up on the top of the hour. Thanks for following. Thanks for following along. Actually, it's 8:30. We started at 7:30. So yeah, it was good talks, man. Good talks.
All right,
And,
Drew. You can drop either of those bottles or both off on my front porch. I will.
I got to find my stomach for that one.
Yeah. So, all right, guys.
Kings,
It was a
remember,
blast. Special edition of Tuesday Night in Sports that is in the process of uploading itself to YouTube here right now. So you'll be able to see that here just very soon.
Don't forget, we're going to upload tomorrow. BK Baits. Blake Knight comes back on with video about a bait, some baits and all that good stuff. If you're in the fishing, man, outdoors, you don't want to miss that. That will be on Motion Sports tomorrow, YouTube and Facebook and all that good stuff. So anyway, it's pretty good stuff, man. Great content coming through. Guys, we're out of here. Y'all take care.
Full week. We'll see everybody again next week. Bye.
See you guys.